Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Options Mentor. How about that Friday? Was that crazy or what with the sell-off there at the end of the day? Best I could tell, reading around that time, is the Chinese said they've possibly have another pandemic coming out of the Wuhan lab. You'd think they'd have fixed that by now, but the market didn't care for that. Some other cross currents there in the wind, and look at that red candle, quite a large one, all the way down. You can see really to support. There is some support here around 6,000, of course, and man, it dropped like an absolute rock, which of course has a corresponding upward spike over here in the VIX, which also, although I think a lot of times technicals don't work quite as well in the VIX as they might in other products, it did really go to resistance itself, basically up near 20. So that brings us into this coming week. We have a lot of Fed speakers. We got some economic inflation readings there late this coming week. So we want to do something, of course, what I've been talking to you guys a lot about, something that gives us a lot of range in a trade. Because in this market, you don't want to be in something very narrow. You see what happens, a 100-point drop. 100 points isn't what it used to be. I've been talking about that with you guys also. When we were 3 or 4,000 and you got a 1% move, it's 30 or 40 points. Well, now it's 60, and that really does make a difference. And plus, when you have a market near these all-time highs, I think there's so much tension about how much further it will go. It does increase volatility, and along with zero DTE trading, I think does have some effect. So let's look at some ideas. I want to compare a couple things. So once again, the theme is we want to get some room. We definitely want to get some room in our trade. So, okay, so let's look at a butterfly. Let's just go ahead and build one here. This is like 19 days out, really the minimum, if not a little bit more, I'd like to be from where we are in duration when I put one of these on. We're trading at 60.13. I'm just using Friday's close. That's up about 57 points. And as you guys know, when I do these combination trades, I like to do 60 up, 70 down from the center. So if we're centered at 60.70, 60 points up, 61.30, 70 points down, 6,000, of course. So there we have that. Now, this may look a little smaller than sometimes when you look at my graph, but this graph can be changed around to make your complexes wider or not. And a lot of times, whenever you're showing a double complex, you need to narrow it up a bit. Otherwise, it takes up the whole screen and you don't really get a sense of what range you do have without moving things around. So there's a butterfly on the top. And what if I go down and put a put diagonal on the bottom? So I went down to 59.70 there. That's around 50 points lower. We might not need to be that low. Let's take a look. So there's a butterfly diagonal. Now that's one thing you could think of. Why would I do that? Well, actually, let's make this a little wider. Turns out I could go a little further down. Why would I want to do a diagonal on the bottom? Well, of course, it gives me more range. Why would I want to do it with a butterfly? Because it gives both of the trades more range. And look at the Vega here. The Vega is just 25. And although it is, sorry about that, it is off center, you can see we have a lot more Vega if we just do a fly, 68 negative, or if we just do a diagonal, 93 positive. Well, we put those two together. And what do we have here? We have a double complex that has volatility sort of muted with more room on the upside. Problem is, if we do get a rally back up, you know how this market is, it decides whatever it was afraid of, it's no longer afraid of it, and then it rallies up and can really bury people who get caught on the wrong side of that. That's why, and one of the reasons I don't like directional trading is if you end up staying in something too long, then this is what can happen to you. But boom, just like sometimes you get out of things too early, maybe take a smaller profit than what you would have liked to, which I did on Friday because I took a trade in the expiration day. And then I could have made more if I would have stayed in longer. But taking things in the expiration day is dangerous. I don't do it unless I really have to. It's sort of like playing with dynamite. It can go for and against you really, really quickly. So when I get a profit many times on expiration day, I just want to take it and get out to take that pressure off. But this is one idea here. Now, another idea you could say, no, you know what? We just looked at the fact that the VIX is up against resistance to the upside. Well, that could mean that it's going to come back down, which of course means the SPX is going up. But what if I wanted to add, say, a butterfly on the bottom? So I went down to still that 59.70 number. But if I want to go 60 up from that center, well, 60.30. And if I want to go down from the center of 59.70, of course, that's 5,900. Now, if we do this, and we'll talk about this difference in the debit here in a moment, this gives us a lot of range also and a pretty good amount of short Vega, 105 points. Now, why would you want to be short Vega? Well, you'd want to be short Vega. You don't mind it too much because VIX is up against resistance, if that's your opinion. And if you're of the opinion that the market will rebound and this will all kind of settle down, then this might be a trade for you where you could take advantage of some volatility changes. Now, if the market continues down, this wouldn't have been your best trade, right? So you have to kind of use what you think. Maybe if you think, or if you're more worried about the market going down, then perhaps you do the diagonal on the bottom. But if you're not, you might want to do the double fly if you think the volatility is coming down and get short a little bit more Vega. Now, as I look at this, I think we can actually get wider. And remember, range is king, because I really want this to connect above zero or just below it, maybe with a double fly is fine. But I think we can easily move this thing down another 10 points each strike. So we'll just move it all down on this put diagonal and see what we have there. So now 70 down, 60 up, still above zero. Now we even have even more range. Really, before you'd have to adjust this trade, I'd really have to be at 61.10, or maybe all the way down here at about 59.30. So that gives us nearly a 200-point range between adjustments. I like that. We'll let this thing move around. Now, as always, when we get into tomorrow, of course, I'm doing this on a Sunday. When we get into tomorrow, the market could change drastically. Maybe you want to do the diagonal fly. Maybe you want to do the double fly. Maybe you don't want to do anything at all. Maybe we open up down 200 tomorrow. I'd stand aside, that kind of thing. So be careful with that. You can't always jam a trade on just because you want to. As a matter of fact, you really can't do that at all. You don't want to do trades just because, quote, you have to. No one has to trade. And by the way, no matter what you think you need to do, or maybe you need this money or whatever, the market's indifferent to your wants and needs. Never forget that. Never forget that. A lot of people trade angry, or they trade upset in whatever fashion, or scared. That's bad too. You don't want to do any of those things. You want to put the right trades on at the right time, and volatility is what I like to use as a gauge, because options so much live and die off of volatility and, of course, movement. But volatility plays a very large part in what we're doing. And as this thing moves back and forth, volatility probably really won't affect you that much as price movement. You get this on, say, tomorrow afternoon, and we end up going down here hard. Of course, you're going to have to adjust it, but the damage would be done more to you by movement than even the volatility. But if the volatility does go up, it does hurt some. If it comes down, it can help you. So why not put everything in your favor as best you can? That's why I think I like this trade, the double butterfly, as we come into this week, just referencing what just happened on Friday. I think this is a better looking trade. And as you guys know, I like to put these trades on usually a little bit later in the afternoon. I'm still working, by the way, on getting my combo trade course out, which will cover this: double flies, fly calendars, fly diagonals, even a bonus of diagonal calendars. It'll all be in there. Of course, I'll let you guys know when that course is available over on arimer.com. By the way, check that description if you want to be with me every day. And my trade alert service is over there. It's doing very well. We've had very few losses over the last 6-8 months, even over the last year, really. As numbers, we're doing very well. And it's a great way to learn when you just follow along. We have a Slack where you can talk with other traders. I put my thoughts in there, what I'm thinking, and of course, what trades I'm going to do for the service before I even do them. I even throw a few trades in that maybe aren't part of my alert service, just maybe some spec plays I'm doing. Like I put one of those on Friday. And of course, I let people know in the room, and you can participate in those if you like too. But the trade alert service trades are a great way to follow along and then ask questions. Hey, Mark, why'd you do that? That's a little different than before. Why are you doing it here? What do you think of this? Hey, what if we did this instead? Why can't we do this? All these things are a great way to learn. You can take part in that over there at airmer.com/Mark. You can also find that link in the description and my email address if you have any questions. So as we come into this week, I think it's really hard to tell where we're even going to end up tomorrow. But this, I think, will equip you. If we do have a fair amount of volatility still, the market's still unsettled, the double fly, maybe it's a little more settled, maybe things are calming down. You could do one of the other combos, fly, calendar, or what have you. Always, please hit that like and subscribe, hit the notification button. I appreciate you guys being here every week. I get a lot of great emails, comments, people asking good questions. I appreciate that. I do want to let you know, folks, once in a while, people ask me about how to repair or adjust a trade in the comments or even emails. I don't show that here on YouTube. There's a lot that goes into that because there's different circumstances that lead me to make different adjustments. Like I said, you can see that over in my trade alert service where people get to ask me, and they do ask me, hey, Mark, why'd we do that? I thought we were going to do this. There are reasons for that, and you can learn from that. But I don't show adjustments here because that's what those folks are paying to learn over there. It's only fair to them that I keep that for them. But it is a very low price if you want to go over there and check that out. You can combine that with being with my opening bell every day, half hour before the market opens, and in my traders lounge a couple days a week. All that's available to you there. I hope to see you over there. As always, thank you for being here, and I will talk with you guys next week. Who knows what's in store? This has really been something this last month, all the things moving around in the market and, of course, in the world, and we'll have to see where we go from here. So have a great day, folks. Have a great week, and I'll see you all here next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.